It's not just about finding an edge in the market, it's about finding an edge within yourself. And we'll go to the charts to look at Bitcoin. Let me take you to this week's NinjaTrader charting edge. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin this week. So dip my toe in the water a little bit over the past week or so in Bitcoin. I like the bottom. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at in the charts, but I want to really differentiate the difference between a hodler and a trader. You're either a hodler, you're just going to buy Bitcoin and hold it, or you're going to trade it like myself and many of you. So the first thing I like to do when I'm buying Bitcoin, because I trade it, is where are we on the weekly? And this is the first time I've stepped into Bitcoin in some time. Where we are in the weekly, you know I like to use my Bollinger Bands, same old with the indicators, 20 period, 3 standard deviation Bollinger Bands, red is a 10-day simple moving average. That gold line is that middle Bollinger Band 20-day moving average. And I like to get that bigger picture perspective. And when I sit back here and I just look at Bitcoin, to me, what does it look like? If you just look at the bars, it looks like we're just in a big range. If you look at the Bollinger Bands, we had this big move higher. You know I like to talk about that. That's very bullish. Once those Bollinger Bands come in, we're boxed in. The Bollinger Bands are all within that original big weekly Bollinger Band. We're just boxed in. It's very much a range-bound market. I know a lot of the hodlers or the big Bitcoin people are calling for 60,000 again, 80,000, 100,000, making all these big numbers out there. But like I said, you're either a hodler or you're a trader. And for me, I'm not saying that can't happen, but what's my perspective of what's happening in the market? And why I started to buy it a little bit is because you could see the bottom Bollinger Band on the weekly started to come back in, and the top is getting flat and starting to come back in. So I like that. We're getting back above the 10-week moving average. So to me, it's showing some signs of strength. I'm actually going to go to a daily now and talk about how I think you need to be using some micro Bitcoin futures to help hedge any of your Bitcoin long spot positions. First off, when I'm buying Bitcoin, I'm buying it for a longer time frame. Even though I am trading it, I'm not looking at Bitcoin for a very short-term trade. I like to hold it for weeks, maybe months. I like these bigger picture moves. Even with that being said, I don't want to sit through these thousands of point swings in Bitcoin. Like I said, I'm not somebody who just holds on to this stuff no matter what the conditions are in Bitcoin. I like to trade around it. So when I go to the daily chart, I talked about what I was seeing on the weekly, how that Bollinger Band was starting to come in back above the 10-week moving average. I like that for a bullish look. Look at where we are here. 10-day moving average, crossing the 20-day moving average. Daily closes above the 10-day moving average. Mouth of the Bollinger Band is opening up, and we're hugging that top Bollinger Band. That is very bullish to me. So the weekly gave me that big picture perspective. The daily confirms it and says, yes, we look bullish here too. Now, I want to talk about micro Bitcoin futures a little bit here because I think this is so important. Because I like to buy the spot, what I like to look at is I'll even take my daily down to a 60-minute chart, and I'll start to look to see what are those shorter term charts saying to me. So along the way, even though right now I'm trying to accumulate some Bitcoin, use those micro Bitcoin futures. They're 1/10 the size of one Bitcoin to hedge your positions along the way. Why I like to do this is when the market's exploding like this in Bitcoin, and really who knows how far it could go, when that daily starts to come back in, or like I said, maybe even a 60-minute or a 4-hour chart, Bollinger Bands start to come in, I'll be laying off some of my spot position by using micro Bitcoin futures because I don't want to deal with these swings. That weekly could take months for it to eventually give me a signal to say you want to be out of this. I'm not going to just sit through, who knows, 3,000 to 5,000 point swings in Bitcoin to the downside by sitting long spot without really being able to manage my risk. So to me, I like to go to the future. So go to those lower time frames and check out those micro Bitcoin futures if you are buying Bitcoin here to be able to hedge some of your spot positions. This week I put a tweet out saying if only a small percentage of traders make money, then it's either prove the stats wrong or prove them right. Part of my drive was proving the stats wrong. Remember, traders, it's not just about finding an edge in the market. It's about you having an edge about yourself. How I finally figured this out as a trader, I remember standing in the pit doing a little bit of story time here, where I was surrounded by all of these massively successful traders making millions of dollars a year. And I'm watching all of these traders trade around me. And here's me, a new trader, and I'm losing money. How could somebody right in front of me be making millions of dollars and me right next to them losing money? It's not because they had a different edge statistically, it's that they had a better edge about themselves. They were more confident. I remember looking at all of the traders around the pit and just seeing how each and every single one of them conducted their business and how unique they all were. We all had different colored jackets, we all had different badges, but we were all in the same pit, trading the same market with really very similar strategies. But the difference between guys like myself, who was not making money, versus the guy who's making millions of dollars, was he had a confirmed edge about himself. I didn't. I didn't truly have an identity in the market. So when you're looking to develop your edge, as I talk about each and every week, it's important to have some introspection about yourself. How do you visually see yourself as a trader? What is your edge? What separates you from the field? What gives you your confidence? Instead of just focusing solely on the statistical side of things, which of course is very important. You can't have bad statistics and a bad strategy and make money, but you do need to find a way to have an edge about yourself. So think about that this week. What separates you from the field? To follow up on that a little bit, I put this tweet out saying being a trader isn't something that we're naturally cut out to do. It has to be cut into you. And what I meant by this is that we, over time, we're going to have scars. The market's going to cut into us. And that's what molds us into the traders that we are. I think that also helps us develop our edge, not statistical edge. Us as a trader, what is our edge? Another little quick story about what I did this past week. Sitting there, just came off of a really good trade. And next thing you know, I'm in my own fast market, buying the offer, not going my way. It's going down, selling the bid, going back up. Next thing you know, I'm selling the bid, buying the offer higher. I found myself in what I call my own personal fast market, the toilet bowl, right? Where I'm just in this bad way where all of a sudden I come off of a great trade with great rhythm, and now I have no rhythm and I'm buying the offer and selling the bid. But the scars from doing that many times in the past, and I know most of you have probably done that as well, told me to stop doing that a lot quicker now than I would have done in the past. I don't care how long you've been doing this or I've been doing this, you're gonna go back and make those mental mistakes along the way. This is why it's so important for you to give yourself time in this business and to develop that edge about yourself. Because for me, I had to look at myself in the mirror right then at that moment in time in the market and say, Anthony, what are you doing? Step away. This is ridiculous. You go from having a really good trade to now just getting nickel and dimed and slowly giving it back. Remove myself from that situation immediately. That comes from having an edge about myself and having the market cut into me a bunch of times in the past to know from those scars to make the right decision in the moment, even though I didn't make the right decision going into it, but I fixed it quickly. Today I mentioned micro Bitcoin futures. The symbol is MBT. They're 1/10 the size of one Bitcoin. To learn more, go to cmegroup.com. Trading is so psychologically demanding. I don't care how long you've been doing this. The swings, they can beat you up mentally. They also take a toll on you physically, even when you're winning. Take care of your mind and body when you're away from the screens. Going back to what I did to myself this past week, had a great trade. Everything was feeling great. Then I'm buying the offer, selling the bid, getting myself chopped up. I felt that pressure in my body. Like I said, doesn't matter how long I've been doing this, it still will take a toll on you. That is why I always say, when you're away from the screens, take time off. Rest your mind, rest your body. It's so important that you take care of yourself when you're away from the screens so you're fresh when you're back at the screens. Traders, I want to hear from you. What did you think of today's show? Did you like it? Give me the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me the thumbs down. Put your comments down below. Never miss an episode of Develop Your Edge. Hit that subscribe button. You could also DM me on Twitter at Anthony Crudele. Don't forget to check out Instagram, Anthony C. Crudele. That's a wrap for today. See you next week.